So here's the rear differential for the Ford Explorer 2017. Here is the drain plug. There wasn't any metal on it for me. I do have the vehicle tilted quite a bit, so I think it's not draining out like if it were totally a flat surface. So I'm gonna have to jam a pump in there and sort of pump it out. And then it's got a 3/8 inch. Just put on your ratchet with no socket on it. And I also put in some penetrating oil because it's pretty stuck, but I also used a way longer wrench, and that gave me enough leverage to get it loose. So also the jack up points are way back right there next to the, I guess it's the fuel tank, I think, or maybe not the fuel tank, whatever that is, right next to the wheels. Here's the jack up point, and then there's 2 pinch points to put your jacks on either side. But you're much better off with the way bigger lift. Here's my supplies. I got brake cleaner off of Amazon. I've got Motorcraft premium rear axle lubricant. You need to look up for your model what the best what the recommended lubricant is for you. For me, 2017 is 80/90, and then I got a fluid transfer pump, which may or not work that great. I guess I'll test it out here to get the fluid out. So I ran the fluid transfer pump right here into just the oil drain pan, but you gotta watch out because once it starts sucking air, it starts splattering the stuff all over. I got hit in the face with some splashback. so be careful there, and you can also move your hose around inside there to try to capture some more of the fluid. Okay, so your next step is getting the fluid back into the differential. So take your fluid transfer pump and either go to this, and I might have to tilt it if it doesn't start bringing the stuff in. But otherwise, you can take off the cap and just drop it down in there. But if this thing falls over, you're gonna be crying. So also, I recommend taking like an giant Amazon box and putting it on the ground, because look at all the oil and crap that's dropping. And just save up tons of napkins for cleaning out your oil thing and dispose of it properly. There's a waste management waste disposal site only like a block away from me, and I save all this up and just drop it off there. So as you're pumping the fluid back into the rear drive unit, some people call it rear differential, this thing starts sucking the bottle until it's like it's flat. So you can relieve some of the pressure by just opening this a little, and then the air starts releasing a little. But also at the very end, when it starts to run out, you have to kind of tilt it to get it in there. And make sure that when you switch from taking the fluid out of the differential to pulling the fluid back into it, you switch the intake and outtake on the pump. It says on the box, this one's where it sucks in and that's where it sucks out. So intake and outtake. Otherwise, what happens is you'll still be trying to suck oil out of the differential back into the bottle if you don't reverse those. So when you look into the bottle, the axle fluid's pretty clear. There's still some murkiness to it, and then when you look, I'll show you at the end, the stuff coming out of it is pure black. So I have to imagine this is a good it's good to swap this stuff out, because for me it's been going 6 years and 90,000 miles before I picked this up from somebody else, and maybe they've never changed it whatsoever. So you'll know you have put enough in there when it starts dripping out. So it's starting to drip out, which means it's overflowing, which that's apparently how you know that you've put enough of the fluid in there. So you just sort of let it drip out a little, and then clean it up with brake fluid. And as you can see right there, those kind of wet looking spots there, that's all fluid that's dripped out that you need to clean with brake cleaner at the very end. And so then the final step will be cleaning up and putting some thread lock on the thread so that the drain plug doesn't lock up on you. Looks like you can save a little bit of your fluid for the next change by taking your tubes and reverse them again, and just all the fluid that was still in the line you can just put back in your bottle as long as it doesn't get contaminated somehow. So that'll save you just a little bit of fluid for the next time. Looks like it takes, for me it took 1, and I think they said 1.34 or something, I don't know. But it just took a little bit of the next bottle to fit in there, and your results may vary. So here's some thread sealant that you put on. Comes in a little white bottle, or just buy whatever. And if you looked at the drain plug, it was all, you can tell where it was plugged in. It was all kind of silvery, and the rest is what was sticking out. And for me, there wasn't a lot of metal shavings or anything. This is a magnet at the end, and there wasn't much on it at all. So you just need to make sure that you don't over tighten it. Another tip, it's my first time using brake parts cleaner, and this stuff just sprays massively, so just be careful. Like, I sprayed it and it's just a cloud of this crap. So they say use it outside and just not too near your face, which is what I was doing. I didn't get any on my face, luckily, but it was certainly surprising for me about how, like, it just makes a huge cloud of this stuff comes out. So this is what the oil looks like that came, the fluid, axle fluid that came out of the rear differential, rear drive unit, RDU, some people call it. It's really dark and black, so it's great that I changed it. And the other surprising thing about it to me is it just smells really nasty. Like, it smells so gross. Like, if you change your oil or anything, nothing smells so far to me as bad as this fluid coming out of here. So I'm not sure what that means, if it's burnt or been in there too long or what, but I'll be glad to get rid of this stuff. So I'm just gonna put it into a bottle, and then you take it to the hazardous waste center.